What's up? How's it going, Valentino Chila? Sheila? I don't know. What's up, MB95? Do you think developers won't be able to find jobs really in the next 2 to 3 years? I don't think so. Why is that? Do you think AI is taking jobs? I think there's some software systems that are so complex out there, and there's so much bureaucracy at some companies that, like, even if you had AI tool that was 100% accurate every time, stuff just still, like, I don't know, stuff still wouldn't get done. You need humans to be able to talk and communicate and understand the system. So yeah, I don't think AI is going to take away your jobs in 2 to 3 years. What's up, Royan Gagas? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. One thing I've been doing on this project is trying to add tests. So if you're on the stream now, you don't know much about testing, this is very, very good to understand, because every project I've been on that's like a professional project I've been paid for, typically there's business requirements that say we have to have tests. Unit tests, integration tests, end-to-end tests. I've never worked at a company that hasn't done testing. Okay, I know on a lot of my little side projects I don't do testing because I know how the code works. I wrote every single line of code. But as the systems get larger and you work on a larger, like you work with a larger team, you can't keep track of all the stuff that's changing. And as you add features and add more features, like stuff just breaks. So testing is very good. So that's what we're going to be doing in this stream. We're going to be trying to add a little bit more tests to this Typescript game. And I'll give you a little walk through. The last stream we added Vitest. I think someone called it Vitest. But I've been using Cursor to kind of crank out some tests, and I just want to test out some of the functionality of how these various entities work together. So I'm kind of writing integration tests. Some of the tests I have right now are like zombie deaths. So like when a zombie gets hit by a bullet, does it reduce in health? If the zombie didn't have much health left, does the zombie get killed or removed from the game? Does that broadcast an event to the front end? Other things I just added today is like a bandage test. So if a player has a bandage in their inventory and they select that bandage and then they use it, does that heal the player a certain amount of health, right? So I'm trying to write tests at that type of level, and hopefully we will get some progress done. Here's another one, a fire test. So there is an effect that you can attach to zombies and NPCs and players that catch them on fire. It's like a damage over time effect. And I wanted to write a test to make sure that, hey, if a zombie has an ignitable extension on it and I update, does it take some damage? Okay, and I also added another one that says, hey, if the zombie only has like 2 HP left and it gets hit twice. Oh, no, this is a different test. This is saying like the ignitable has a max damage associated with it, right? So it's kind of like a poison damage in games or fire damage. It only lasts for so long and then it just clears itself up. And so I'm verifying that, hey, if you have ignitable on a zombie and you update the game twice, it should remove ignitable. And yeah, just kind of stuff like that. I'm trying to figure out what other things I could probably test at this point. True says, watching Devin fail even basic tasks in that Prime Engine video gave me a lot of hope in software engineer jobs. Yeah, I mean, like, AI isn't 100% accurate. You still need to be an expert to understand the code that you're accepting and bringing into your code base. I just think that using AI makes you very productive. MB95, cool, I hope so, because I'm truly frustrated. By the time I graduate and learn software dev, I'm afraid I won't be on a sufficient level to be hired by a company, as AI will be superior by then. Listen, I just don't get discouraged. Just keep learning. Just keep learning. There's some things that AI can't do well, right? AI is really good at building out UIs and building out just generic like CRUD endpoints and stuff. But when you have more complex logic, it doesn't perform as well, and you still need to understand like what it's doing. I'm 31, trying to get my first job. You'll be fine, bud. Yeah. I mean, like, let's think about it this way. If a bunch of engineers lose their jobs, like, that's a bigger problem we're going to have in this whole, like, economy. Because like, what am I going to do if I'm not able to program anymore? I'd probably have to go and help learn LLMs, right? There's always like a ladder you can climb when it comes to software. If you're getting replaced for building out simple UIs, then maybe you need to work harder and just learn more about computer vision, learn more about signal processing, learn more about LLMs and how to build AI systems yourself. And then you're going to be hireable because you're building harder things that like require deep knowledge and research that, I mean, AI doesn't even know how to figure out yet. I don't know. Don't get discouraged. Why does this not show up? All right, one of the things I wanted to test, if you guys are interested in watching me write tests, I think it to be a good learning experience, is... Oh, wow, what the heck? A couple of bugs. So there's a pistol on the ground, but when I pick it up, I actually become... I actually get a knife in my inventory, which you can't see the inventory because I don't have this open. So I'm wondering if I could do test-driven development to verify that when a player, first of all, gets over a certain type of entity, such as a weapon, it should be showing some text. Like it should say pick up and then it should say the item type. So that's not working. I must have done some refactoring and I broke it. Again, that's why you want to write some tests. So we could go ahead and just say weapons, and then I'm going to go ahead and make one for a knife. You know, I'll just say weapon test.ts. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just grab an existing test. And we're going to start with this. And we're going to try to walk through what we need to do. So what I do when I'm writing tests is just start with this single if statement. And start as simple as possible. Don't overwhelm yourself with all these different things you could do. I guess I can keep those in. Okay, so we need to first of all make a player. So definitely we need to make a player, which I think I do that somewhere else. So like let's go to the bandage. And I think I make a player somewhere here. Okay, so look at your existing code to get a good understanding of like how this stuff is working. Hey, thanks for the follow. You should have played noise. Did you guys hear noise when that happened? Is my audio broken? Hold on. Oh, you know what? I'm probably hooked up to my Bluetooth. Hey Tibbs, I need to start writing Vitest myself, and I'm working on scaffolding script for Express service servers in different databases with either JavaScript or TypeScript, similar to how Vite works. I am out of my depth a little, but it's a good way to learn. Welcome, Daria. Welcome. Just trying to write some tests. All right, we got sound working. Okay, so I want it to, let's just go ahead and write out a better statement. So when a player walks near a item, interactable item with an interactive extension. Oh, hold on a second. This is front end related. Yeah, I can't test that on the back end. This is a front end only thing, and I haven't added testing to the front end, so I'm actually not going to test this. What I could test instead is maybe a player firing a weapon. And I wonder if that would be better if I just made a player test. Okay, so we'll do player.test.ts. Okay, let's start the goose chase. Player related tests. Let's just go ahead and import the player. Okay, my import's wrong. Let's make a player here. All right, so a player should be able to fire a pistol if the pistol is selected in his inventory. All right, let's try starting with that test. How you doing today, Daria? Okay, so we have the player, and what we're going to do is we're going to push a pistol into his inventory. Okay, and then I have a method for selecting that. Okay, so like in this game, I can press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I can select different items here. So that's kind of what we're doing, is I'm going to select player dot select inventory item. We'll do the first index, although I think that is the default anyway, but we'll make it explicit. And then we need to basically make the player fire. Okay, so how are we going to make the player fire? I'm going to pretend like the inputs are set. So player dot set inputs. I think that I should probably make something else. I'm going to go ahead and say set as firing. Input.fire. So I'm making these like little helper functions that basically set input. At the top, I have like 8 different inputs, and those are representing like the keyboard combinations that the user has pressed or released. So if they have an item selected, is this 1-based inventory item 1? I might have to rethink this. I hope this is 0-based. That would be stupid if this is 1-based. You know, I could just refresh the game if I start with 1 selected. Yeah, I don't know what that does, honestly. I guess I could just keep it at 0. Anyway, what was I saying? So to fire, hey, thanks for the follow. To fire, I just need to set the fire input to true. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to say set as firing true. And then I'm going to update. So we'll say entity manager to update. That'll loop through any entities I happen to have set up, which would probably only have 2 things. In fact, I want to console log how many entities we have here. And we're going to call update. And what we want to do is verify that now a bullet entity was created and added to this entity manager. So I could actually say, let me just print this out real quick. Right now it has a single player. So like before, I'm going to check to make sure that there are no bullets. So has no bullet entities. We're going to go ahead and just get anything that happens to have a bullet extension. Actually, it wouldn't be a bullet extension. It would be entity.type. Okay. Has bullets. Game has some bullets. Okay, let me, I'm sorry, I'm like thinking out loud. I'm going to actually change this to a sum. And we're going to go ahead and just delete this. And then I'm going to expect that this is actually false. The whole thing about Vitest is like as you save, it just reruns your test in the file you have open. Very, very useful. So now that we've done that, what we could do is we're going to assert, if I do that same thing, I want to assert that there's a bullet at least. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So it looks like it's not creating that. So just to debug this real quick, we'll console log this. Okay, again, it did not add a bullet. So what we could do is we're going to do a little bit of debugging. Because right now this should have updated and then that should have ran through. And if I say input.fire, this should have hit this statement. Handle attack should have been called, which means that update player should have been called. So we're going to figure this out. Now I'm going to show you something really important to understand. That's the debugger. Sometimes you can get away with just console logging stuff. Sometimes honestly using a debugger is probably a better investment in your time. So we're going to go and say run and debug. If you click on this little drop down, I'm using cursor, but in VS Code there's still a run and debug. There's ways you can like set up a config file, like a JSON file to do this. I just like opening the JavaScript debug terminal. I find it very useful. And I just say npm test. And then any node related things that you run in this terminal, notice that there's a little bug icon, right? That's the important part. This is a debugger terminal. And now when I ran my test, you'll see that it stopped my debugger right here, line 390. Okay, so we know that the player is trying to get updated. And if we kind of step through, or sorry, this is a step over, and this is step through into, I mean. So step over, step into. Now I want to see, okay, like, why isn't this player attacking? So let's just step into this function. You can also do F11 if you want, which I don't know why that just did my OBS. Okay, I guess it's not working, so I'm going to go ahead and just do this. And we're going to click if input.fire. So right now input.fire is false. That's a problem because it should be true. So I think this input.fire, is this not getting set? Player set as firing. So let's kind of take a step back. We figured out what the issue is. The issue is that something is false when I should have set it to true. I'm looking at my code and I'm like, well, it is set to true. So what we could do is just rerun, I believe, this test by just saving this file. Well, let me play, and then I'm going to save the file, and I believe that should just rerun. Okay, here it is. Wait, did that not rerun it? Let me try it again. Run this. We're gonna run. Oh, did it get here? Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Set as firing. This should have gone in. This should have set this thing as true. Awesome. And now we're gonna go, and then we're gonna update. We're gonna update all the extensions for all the different entities. So if I click play, we're going to go back to handle attack, and we want to stop it here. So I'm going to go ahead and play all the way through that. And input.fire. It's true. Okay, so I don't know what's happening there. That's kind of weird. But let's just step through. There could be like a race condition. Did it actually fire? Hey, thanks for the follow. Okay, so we know it is getting set to true after all. I don't know why it was false when I was hovering over it. Okay, it's true. We're in here. What's the active weapon? Do we have an active weapon? It's null. This is the issue. We should have an active weapon because I told it to get the active item. Get active weapon. Okay. This dot active item. What is active item using? Not sure why there's a getter there. I'm not using getters in this right now. So this is getting the inventory item. This is probably back to that index of 0 thing we talked about. And index -1. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Refactor this to be 0 based. Why are we subtracting 1? I think this is the issue, but for right now, I'm not going to go on that goose chase of like refactoring. In fact, I'm just going to go back here and set this to slot 1. Now, one way that could make this easier to like maybe debug in the future is if I went back to the inventory that is under the backend. Maybe the player themselves. Is this a player class? Yeah. Anyway, let's just, let me save. I'm sorry, let me save and just see if that fixed it. I'm getting kind of carried away. Let's run it again. Get the active item. Okay, why is it? Here we go. Okay, now we got the pistol back. Cool. So it should have fired if the key is equal to pistol. All right, it should step through. It should make a bullet at the position of the player. It should set the direction to make it face whatever the player's facing, and then it should add that entity here, and then it should broadcast a player attacked event. And now it's passing. Dude, I don't know what's going on here. This debugger must be messing things up. I feel like it's delayed. Like, I think I'm saving files so often that it keeps catching the debugger, and then it's running like old code. But now that you guys are hopefully super confused, that's how you write a test. All right. Now, let's go check chat real quick. What's up? A lot more people have joined. We got Zorky, Darth Vader. Sorry, I had to get my dog water. I miss what you said. I don't remember what I said, so luckily this is all going to be posted afterwards. And you should be able to see it. I'm terrible at writing tests. It's like my kryptonite. It says Darth Vader. Yeah, you just have to get used to it. It's just like another thing you have to learn, you know? Daria says, I'm good. Working on the tutorial for my game. Awesome. Yeah. Writing test cases is basically doubting your skills. That's the dumbest comment I have read. T-Tib says, depending on what you're building, a backend server should be tested, shouldn't it? Yes, you should probably test everything. Jess has extension that does that as well. When saving it can run the tests. Ice Arnie says, super beginner here. What, in your opinion, is a solid React framework for simple static pages? And do you have any opinions on using page builders like Webflow for static pages and coding them yourself? Yeah, I don't know. Does Remix do static pages? I think the problem is that you think it's going to be a simple static page, but then you decide you want to add in some dynamic functionality. And then you wish you just used something that had that from the get-go. That's why I like using Next. It's not simple. I don't think Next is very simple, but it has the ability to do, what is it, server-side generation for your static sites and stuff. So, I don't know, I'll just say learn Next. It's not that hard if you just use it as like a simple, here's a bunch of static pages. Other than that, I mean, like, I don't know if you have any options. You could use like some type of CMS. I'm sure Vite has some things with React where you can like pre-compile pages. I don't know. Start with Vite, then try Next.js. Hey, what's up, bro? What's up, Jaffa? Isaac. Tib says, although Next.js would be overkill for simplicity, maybe as it is used for backend and frontend together. Yeah, I mean, just use whatever. If the site's not too big and like you don't plan to have that much functionality, I just don't worry too much about what you pick because anything's going to solve the problem. I would just say if you do think you're going to have something more complex in the future, Next.js is pretty good. If connecting the website to a CMS like Prismic or Strappy, would Next.js be more robust or easier to implement, or can Vite handle all that easily? Haven't you really used Vite too hard with like static pages? That's probably a Daria question, and I'll bet you he's going to be like, yes. Do your packet schema validation on the server? Do you have packet schema validation? Not yet. I need to add that in. So like you're saying when a WebSocket comes in from the client, verify it has the right fields and the right values for those. No, I don't do that. But I can make a to-do list item for that. We will say add client sent packet side validation. Do I do live reviews? Would like to hear your views on the package I made. I guess it depends on how big the project is. And I probably wouldn't be able to give too much feedback on it. All right, so the test passed. That's good. And so again, like, why are we doing this? The reason we're doing this is because, wait, how did I just break this? Get item key asset. How did I break that? Okay, what is it trying to look up? Item key. Oh, item is undefined. Somehow we're passing an undefined item here. Interesting. Let me look at my git diff. I must have changed something I didn't mean to change. Inventory. I changed active item. And I think that's probably used in a couple places. So instead, Yeah, get, this needs to be get active item. Wait, no, it doesn't. My bad. You know, sometimes it's actually easier to just like revert what you did. Like that little refactoring, I didn't need to do it. I thought I was improving my code base by doing that, but it actually just caused me more problems. I think it was get active weapon. Active weapon. And I think I used to call it like this. No? Yeah, let's just revert this. And then yeah, I don't know why that broke it, but let's not even like dive into that. So now if I pick up a weapon, okay, that was a knife. We got a pistol that shoots, right? And so the reason we're testing is because if someone comes through here and decides, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and like mess around with refactoring handle attack, and then I just like accidentally flip this. Okay, my tests are failing automatically. Like I made that little change, but now you like that's something you won't even notice in your game. I need to find a bullet. I mean a pistol. Here's one, hopefully. Okay, I gotta fix those. I don't know why it's displaying a knife when I pick up the. I mean, you guys get the purpose of testing, right? All right. Okay, my game's like definitely broken here. And having some type of test would have probably helped me find that. Anyway, let's just add this stuff. Let's say adding tests to verify a player can shoot. Something else I wanted to do. What else I want to do? I want to fix, okay, so like when I walk over, first of all, when I walk over these weapons, I'm not getting any type of interactive text. I think I know what the fix is for that. So if I go to a weapon, this extends client entity base. I want to extend client entity, I believe. Because when I extend that, it automatically has some shared functionality for like rendering out the text, I thought. Okay, let's get pistol. This is probably another bug. Why is this printing out the pistol? So weapon client, asset manager, get the pistol. I must have broken this at some point. This dot weapon type. Where is it getting? Right here, it's getting that. So I think I want to do this. Let's go back. Man, I really messed this up, huh? Probably something else we should have written a test for. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. What else did I delete? Interactive text. So this will already be taken care of. Animation, animate position. Are we not doing animation? I mean, the weapon doesn't animate, so I don't know why we'd even need that. Alright, so now we actually see the right weapon, but the renderable interactive text is still not happening. So, why would that not be working? Client entity, render interactive text. It has interactive on it. So maybe the weapon on the back end. Hey, thanks for the follow. It has interactive. And it's passing over the weapon type. Does it also have, let's just put a debugger here. This is client-side code, I think, so we got to figure this out. Maybe it doesn't have a display name. Get display name, maybe that's it. That display name is weapon type. Yeah, let's just go back to the debugger real quick. I'll move this down and let's see what's going on. If that'll even get to that breakpoint. It does. Why would it get to that breakpoint? We shouldn't be near a weapon, right? Oh, I'm near wood. We wanted to do it only near a pistol. You know, I'm just gonna do this. Sometimes the debugger will slow you down. Okay, what did I do? It probably shouldn't be printing out wood. I'm not even near wood. So that's kind of weird. Oh, okay. Wood. Okay, yeah, so I get near this thing, it doesn't even seem to print out anything. But my question actually is it maybe just empty? I have a hunch it's just an empty string, so when I get near the weapon... Okay, no, it just doesn't even... Okay, so I don't think it's getting here, which means that if it's not getting there, it's probably not getting here. If the player and the interactive has a display name. I think we already verified that it should work, right? Interactive. And I could probably ask AI right now to try to figure out why this is not working. Sometimes it's nice to just fix things yourself. Oh, Astro. I totally forgot about Astro. Yeah, Astro's a good framework. What's up, Vibrant Games? Yep, trying to. Alright, so right now, a player is walking around. They get next to an entity. The entity, the weapon, when it's on the ground, it should try to like figure out... It's because I'm not calling super.render, I bet. That's probably the issue. It's just simple mistakes like that. There we go. Working. I feel like the health is supposed to render out above the wall. All right, I wonder if I can test that. That little bug, how long did it take me to fix? Like 10 minutes or so. Maybe 6. Yeah, I think it was like 10 minutes. That little bug cost me 10 minutes. And so if I had a single test that just like told me, hey, this is broken, I think that would have been pretty nice. But I'm kind of wondering how I would want to go about testing this. I could probably do a unit test. Because the issue with this one is I wasn't calling super.render. So a simple little mistake that I just, I missed it. If I mocked out the context, we could have checked that something, like if I made a player and I put them right next to this other thing, client side, this thing should have at least tried to invoke fill text with something. So I think that's the approach I would take if I want to test this. And I mean, since we're doing testing on a stream, you might as well just add some tests, right? So to get this working with tests, I'm going to try to copy what I'm doing on the back end. I'm going to grab this Vitest. I'm going to put it in the game client. And then I'm going to go and snag the test over here. And I'll put it, where's my scripts? Here it is. And then I'm going to grab that and put it in dev dependencies. I don't have any. Okay. So I should be able to load up a terminal now and go to packages, game client, npm test. And that's going to try to run my test. I don't have any. And so what we can do is find that player. Not the player. We need to find, what was it called? The weapon. All right, let's make a quick little weapon unit test. So sometimes you want to write unit tests. Sometimes you want to write integration tests. It's just a matter of what you think is going to work best for your testing needs, I guess. Let's just grab this one for right now. And we're going to go ahead and just like delete this. And should render text when a player is within range of the weapon. Now all this stuff, this is all backend stuff, so I should probably get rid of all that. And I'll say weapon interactive text. Actually, I'll just call this weapon. Why not? Okay, all this stuff, I should just delete this. Okay, so what do we want to do here? We want to probably initialize a weapon client. So here we'll say const weapon is equal to nothing, but it will be a weapon client. And then we're going to go ahead and just initialize that here. Just complaining about data and asset manager. So we need to mock some stuff out. We need to give it an asset manager, but I don't want it to have to like load in the real assets. So instead of giving it an asset manager, like what do these weapon clients actually need? It needs a get method. Okay. That's all it needs. And so instead of passing an asset manager here and making this whole thing required, I might even just put an interface. Be nice to move this out to its own class. I could probably export an interface called, I'm just going to do asset manager for right now because I'm lazy, but we just want it to have a get. In fact, you could even call it something different. You can call this like image loader. And this implements the image loader. It already has a get method, so it should be good. And then we can go here and say, you know what? These things actually depend on an image loader instead of the asset manager. And that would mean we have to kind of like refactor the base class. Yeah, I wonder if there's anywhere else. This might turn into a giant refactoring. But we'll figure this out. Why is this not working? Image loader. You know, sometimes you just got to do a little bit of refactoring, and then when your whole code base turns red, you realize, okay, you've definitely coupled stuff. Get asset manager, get the image loader. All right, so hopefully we're good there. We don't need the asset manager class. We need the interface. And this can get the image. This thing, what is this doing? Why is this like not? All right, am I doing this right? So we have a test here. We want to pass in something that works with that interface. In our case, we're going to go ahead and just return nothing. Return new image. Maybe I do that. We'll see how this works. Sometimes, like when you're running unit tests on the client side, it doesn't use like a real browser. So like some of the stuff like image, I'd be surprised if this doesn't crash. But again, what are we doing? We're trying to unit test the weapon. And more specifically, we are trying to render the text when a player is within range of the weapon. So how would we do that? We could say weapon.render, and then we need to pass it some things. What does it need to be passed in? It needs to be passed in a context. Canvas rendering context 2D. Again, there's some coupling going on here. Like, should this thing know that we are using an HTML canvas? No, it should probably take in an interface. And that interface could just have some methods. But that's going to be a huge refactoring if I want to go down that path. So at the very least, what I could do is, let's see, I need to give it the context. Draw image, we'll do nothing. And then also, what do we have here? We have some draw text, fill text, context font, fill style. Like the properties don't matter. I just don't want the thing to crash if it doesn't have a certain. Oh, am I using measure text? I am. Okay. What is this thing supposed to return? A number, not width. Why is that not happy? That doesn't matter. Okay, so we're passing this mock context. So I'm going to say const mock context is equal to that stuff. And then we want to use it down there. And then we'll just forecast it as that context thing. And then the next thing we need to pass in is a game state. What's actually used in this game state to get this working? It looks like we might use the player to get the center position. What is get player doing? Getting a, oh, get CBI ID. So this is where like unit testing can get kind of tricky because like just to do this, I have to mock out all this different stuff, which is probably a sign that your code isn't really like decoupled well. But to achieve that, like to get this working, I think I need to make sure I pass in entities and then player ID. And then I need to put like an ID here of 1. And that'll get back the player position. And we really just want to, we really just care about the player. Get center position, get center position. All right, let's try that. Object literals may only specify known properties and get center position that exists on entity. So this needs to be a real entity. I wonder if I just said new player. Maybe this is actually a better approach. Const player is equal to new player client. This is kind of turning into an integration test a little bit. But it's fine. Whatever. Player dot set position. We'll do 0, 0. What's this complaining about? It probably needs a raw entity and an asset manager. And in that case, it needs to be image loader. Image loader get with direction. Okay, so there's like more stuff I'm missing from my image loader. image manager. Okay, the whole reason I was doing this is because if you load an asset manager and construct it, you also get an image manager, which is loading in a PNG and then like trying to get the actual like crop out the locations of the pistols and the sprites and stuff. So that's why we're doing this interface here. It just turns out that the interface is missing a couple things like get with direction and get frame with direction. So if I were to go back to the image loader, just say get with direction, get frame with direction. Okay, would that make that thing happy now? Okay, so the player class is kind of happy, except for get frame index is missing. Oh, I just closed that asset manager. Here we go. All right, a little bit better. Now, what does this need again? I've already forgotten. We need data in the image loader, which I should probably rename this real quick. I know I'm all over the place, but how it goes sometimes. I guess I could call this image loader. Was that already commented out? I feel like that just got... No, that's always been there. Interesting. Why is this commented out? Let's just delete it. You don't need to keep commented code out in your code base. Okay, I'll check chat in a bit. I kind of been neglecting you guys. I want to get this going. So again, this needs raw data. So we'll say nothing. And then it also needs an asset manager, which happens... You're going to have to add probably those same methods so that it doesn't fail when it tries to render. But we'll find out. If we just do this and see what happens. Let's start this with an ID. Type player. Inventory crafting active item input. Yeah, I think the only thing this thing really needs is ID. This one we'll just let error out, whatever, as any. We'll set the position 0, 0, and then we're going to render this thing out. Now, the whole reason I was doing this is because I need to put the player in there. The type entities or any player ID. No, my internet didn't seem to go out. What framework am I using? I'm just rolling my own framework. Do you generally pre-build tests or build tests in parallel? Usually, it depends. If it's an existing system and someone found a bug, typically I'll do test-driven development first. I'll write the test and then verify the test fails because it's like finding the bug. And then I'll go through and fix the bug, the implementation, and then kind of do it that way. If it's brand new functionality, it depends. If it's something I already know how to do, I'll start with the test. If it's something that's brand new and I have to like think about it and experiment with it, I don't do test-driven development. I just prototype stuff, play around with the code a little bit until it seems like it works, and then I might come back and add the tests afterwards, which gives you a chance to refactor once you've found a good solution. How often do you stream? I'm trying to stream twice a week. All right, so we have to figure out, this thing is missing some stuff, like it's missing until night cycle, and it's probably missing is day. I think that's why it's mad. So now this is mad because it's supposed to take a raw entity, and the raw entity needs a type on it. It needs an ID and extension. Interesting. Let me go through here. Git extension. Sometimes you just have to sit and stare at the code, you know? Excuse me. Player client. Raw entity. This should have created the player, but it seems like game state. What is getting pushed to game state? I thought entities were not raw entities. Oh, I think I know what I need to do. Let me go here. Is this getting the yeah, my player. Hit center position. I think player client is missing the following properties from type entity manager. Why is it missing all that stuff? I think I actually have to like do this. As unknown as raw entity. Okay. Let's take a step back. The player client is missing the following properties from type entity. I want to see what cursor will tell me what to do. Oh, okay. I think I understand. I think this thing has to be entities for some reason. Although I'm not sure why it thinks it's an entity. This thing is a player client. Let me try something. I'm going to use this here. Okay, and then here we're going to say player entity raw. Yeah, I have to figure this out. That's kind of strange. Am I? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong game state, aren't I? This is game server. That's what I needed. Okay. So I should actually be mocking out that game state, which comes in. Where does that happen? This is the game state. So this needs just add these like little things in. Okay, I think it's happy now. And I kind of wonder if I just put here. This isn't the client and it needs entity. Entity Just needs ID type extension and potentially entity manager. Yeah, so it needs to take the real entity. All right, that was crazy. Let's just go ahead and go back to where we're at. So the idea of this test, it should, if the player is near the, oh, I haven't even made like a assert statement. Hold on. Could render the text. Okay, this one's failing where? Extension of name is not found. Extensions, are they supposed to be called typed? Extension. Oh, it's right here. Deserialize, serialize, and update. An interface though. Line extension serialized as a type. I mean, I have a type here, so I'm not sure what it's complaining about. Just seems like it can't find interactive is not found. Oh, duh, if I read this. Okay, so like this thing, in order for this thing to work, technically we need interactive. Probably need something else too. Getting the interactive extension from here. Oh, did I put the wrong thing there? Weapon client. Welcome to Premium. Thank you, NeuroGuy100. How did you learn the mock in Vitest? I'm trying to add some tests into an existing project, but man, trying to mock web audio is a nightmare. I mean, I would look up like spies as well. There's like, you can typically pass a class to a spy and then tell which methods you want to mock out. It might be easier because you can pass it like the real implementation and then like certain methods you can just stub out. What's up, Noller? What's up, Eldrac? What's up, Michael Dean? Wait, actually, you've been here. Sorry. And then thank you again, NeuroGuy, for the premium. Although I'll be honest, the premium doesn't really offer you too much. It's more of like if you just want to support my channel, you can do YouTube Premium or whatever it's called. All right, what is going on here? Entities weapon test. So this thing is trying to render out the weapon, which eventually gets down to the weapon class, and then it tries to render out this, and it's expecting that there's an interactive thing on this client entity, which there should have been, because when the data came in, it should have gone down, it should have created this base, which sets, it deserializes the extensions here. So like technically I could console log the data, and like, are we even getting to that? We are. Extension types is empty. No extension interactive found for entity 1. So that data gets in properly, but Creating deserialized extensions, client extension. So it loops through the extensions. Type whatever. Okay. Should look up the extension with the type in the extension map. I think it's because I'm probably doing. Yeah, what is interactive? I mean, is that what's failing though? Failing here. Get extension. Loops over all the extension. It tries to find the one based on a certain type. Let me just fix this up real quick. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. How would we figure out what I'm doing wrong? Because when I initialize this player, it should have gone through here, taken those extensions, should have deserialized them. We've printed them out and we see we have extensions of an array. And then it should go over here and create new ones. So, I mean, I could probably render out this. Client positionable, client interactive. So it is there. X is undefined, Y is undefined, size is undefined, display name is empty. Oh, I should probably add a display name. Hold on. That's a good thing. So over here, interactive, I think display name needs to be like pickup. There we go. I mean, we have a type here. It's almost like the extension is not properly setting the type when it deserializes. Player client, let's go back to where we were. Extension deserialize, okay. Existing extensions get by type, so say console getting this. Go ahead and go down here and just print out what we got. Extension is undefined. Okay, so here's another thing I probably didn't mock out, right? Why I hate unit testing sometimes. It's like you have to mock out everything. Create a map of existing extensions in their type. This.extensions. If type is defined, set type equals to extension of extension. I'm not sure what's going on here. Deserialize display name. Serialize display name and type. Thanks for the follow. Okay, what is this thing doing? I'm gonna use a debugger. Oh my gosh, debugger. Why can't I type? And we're gonna go to the game client. Actually, can we just like add a test? We'll see test game client. Okay, and that's gonna go to the game client and run test. npm run test game client. There we go. Gonna attach a debugger. we're looking at this. We're going to step through a little bit. Because what's coming over is this raw data, which in fact, if I go here, we should be able to see the data. Let me move this down a little bit. We got a player, has an ID of 1. It has interactive and positionable. It has some display text. It has a type. And so it should loop over the extensions. But it didn't because this is the first time it's seen these extensions. Okay, I understand what the code's doing now. So it's going to, oops, what did I do? It's going to step through. It's going to get the type, positionable, and then it's going to look that up. Supposed to be getting that type, and then it's supposed to print out the extension, which is undefined. So the issue has to be here. The type is positionable. And I'm passing it here, and that should be looking it up. This thing, existing extensions. Oh, wait, no, that's not the issue. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the wrong thing. This should try to create one now. I think that's the key thing I was kind of throwing up on. So if I scroll into that, trying to make a client positionable. Okay. And then we should be able to run this again. It's going to push those into new extensions. And then it updates them. I feel like this is wrong. This has to be wrong down here. Let me go back in the diff a little bit. Must have broken something. No? Okay. This has been happening like this for a while, so this is not the issue. Okay, so that should have made it positionable. If I run it again, now it's going to go and make a interactive. It should deserialize it at some point. Here we go. And it's going to set the display name. Interactive type. Public static read-only type. Oh, do I need a yeah, this is how I do type for everything. Okay. Constructor, player client. Get out of there. Okay, so we have the player. It has 2 extensions in here. Yeah, I wonder if these things just need a type attached to them and like why they don't have a type on them. That might be the problem. That should have already been attached. Because like if we go into render again, this is where it crashes because it doesn't think it has those extensions. Oh, some gifts. Hey, thank you so much for that. Who did that? Gifted 10 Web Dev Coding memberships. Thank you so much, Tiago Peria. Peria. I don't know if I said your name right, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for those gifts. I didn't know YouTube did gifts. That's pretty cool. They're trying to do their whole Hype Train 2 thing? Or is that something else? What is his goal? Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. This is the first time I've gotten a gift. 10 gifts on a live stream, so I appreciate you. Yeah, if only I could figure out this bug. Okay, so I'm at the point now where it's like I could probably figure this out, but I have enough information where I can prompt AI to like help me push through that I know it's going to be a one-line fix that I need to do, But I'm going to go ahead and say I'm trying to write a test over my player client to verify it renders, sorry, over, not the player client. What am I trying to do? Oh, I found my issue. I don't need AI. Players aren't interactive. Why am I'm putting this on the wrong thing? I bet you this will fix it. Okay, extension types interactive. Made some progress. I think that fixes that issue we're looking at. That's not gonna make the test pass. Well, let's go back to the test and try to get this working. Name state. Why is this complaining? Extension positionable not found. So yeah, I need to also add, I think I was just adding it to the wrong thing. I don't think the player needs, the player definitely needs positionable, but the pistol, maybe that's what also needs it. Image is not defined. Okay, so image is not defined. It's trying to return a new image. Here, we don't even need to do this. Let's see if we return null, if this will work. Okay, that's good enough. So that was a lot of mocking. I'm not happy with that. I need to rethink what I'm doing here because this feels very weird to like do a single unit test. Well, this isn't even a unit test. This is more of like an integration test, but I need to think about it. I need to think about it. Like, do I need that one? I do. Because it's going to use a distance formula to basically calculate the center position of the player against the position of the client. It's almost like these clients should just come pre-constructed with some extensions on them so that like that already exists out of the box instead of me having to like add them in by hand. Anyway, it's passing now. That's good. But I'm not asserting anything, so of course it's going to pass, right? So make sure you actually have asserts in your test. Don't get happy when it turns green, because honestly, I would not even have had this thing. Like, why does Vitest say passing when there's no asserts or expects anywhere? I think that's a flaw of like Vitest, in my opinion. But anyway, mock context. This thing is supposed to call fill text, which means what we could do is I think I could just spy on that. So I could say like v.spy on, and I want to spy on the mock context actually. And we're going to just return value null. Okay, that's fine. Let's import this. Of course, it's not going to work. Why is this? I thought I pasted that in. Here we go. So that should kind of like replace this with an actual spyable function we can use so that it won't just like crash, or we can like actually do stuff. So what we're going to do, take that mock, and down here, we're going to say expect mock. Okay, here we go. Just let it kind of do it for me. Number of calls 0 to have been called fill text. Okay, the weapon has a certain position. They're both positioned at 0, 0. I don't know why I set position there. I don't need to. We're going to get this test passing, guys. Don't worry. Expected fill text to be called with our arguments. Pickup 0, 0. Receive nothing. So it's either my spy is not set up correctly. I'm going to say is this the proper way to mock out that, to spy on the fill text method? Okay, here's another approach you can do. So we could just go ahead and apply that, I guess. And then you don't need that, I guess. But even so, I don't think that's the issue. It's still not getting called for some reason. So now we have to go back in and figure out, is this thing getting invoked? Rendering interactive text. So it is getting there. Okay, so then the issue must be with this. Are we getting here? We're still here. Okay. So then let's just dive in deeper. Is it getting into this function? Is it getting here? It doesn't print out testing. So there's an issue here, which I could probably just put a debugger here. And we're going to go back here. We're going to step through. Player position is not a number. Center position is not a number. So we are not passing real values into this thing, which is causing it to just break. So I need to go back. Positionable, get center position. Enter interactive text. Player position and center position. So these two. Positionable, my player. Why are these things just like not correctly constructed? They're all undefined, which is interesting because I should be getting the extension from the thing. Okay, I'm gonna go zoom out some. This is getting. I need to be able to see this stuff. All right, what is going on here? I'll do it here too. What is going on here? Not a number. The display name's working, but X, Y, and size, not a number. Why would that be happening? Client interactive. Oh, because I think it's supposed to be X, Y. I think that might be the issue. Because I think when we deserialize the weapon, weapon, serialize. Serialize, XY size. Yeah. Okay, let's see if that kind of gets us further. Get extension positionable. Okay, so now they're actually set here. That's pretty good. Doesn't fix our issue just yet. So the question is let's go back to that distance calculation and see if we're getting into that. So here we'll add one more debugger. That's still not a number though. Why? This weapon client, positionable, has an X and a Y on it right now. This thing has an X and a Y on it, but yet when it gets to here, not a number, not a number. What's going on here? Okay, this has a 0 and a 0. The interactive thing has a pickup. My player gets center position. That has a 0, 0 on it. This gets that client positionable, returns it. I give up. Python a great language to learn as a beginner? Yeah, I think so. What's up, bad cop? I've seen you on the Twitters before. I'm sorry to hear that news. But yep, I'm on there. VS Code theme name. It's like bearded theme, vivid purple, I think. What extension do you use? I use a couple. What's up, Nate? The real juicy stuff of software engineering tests. Man, I don't know why this thing is so hard. Like why is this not working? I have the positionable thing. Cannot speak. But where's my debugger console? Not a number. If I print it out, I get X and Y. So it enter. Oh, jeez. I didn't add a size to it. That's why. Oh, my God. You know, it's late in the day. I don't know what I'm doing right now. So let's go back to that test. I need to add a size here and just say 16. Probably also to this. I think that may solve it. It made progress. Let's see. Pickup E. It's called twice. I think that's part of the issue. For some reason, it's calling it twice. Hey, thanks for the follow. Is this a real issue, or is this like my editor not? Why would it have pickup E on there? Oh, of course it would. It is center position. Okay, so the position's working, except for why did it switch to 3, -3? Because we take the width of the text, which I think in our case we return like what? Just return 0. Okay. The text width divided by 2. And the other one's just subtracted by 3 for some reason. Why is fill text? Is this being called twice? Pickup getting interactive, getting position. Let me delete some of these other console logs. They're kind of getting in my way. Serialize. Where are we console logging that one out? Hope I don't have any. Okay, this one. This one. All right. Called. It's only getting called once. But for some reason, it thinks that it's getting called twice, I believe. Why would it get called twice? Am I rendering the name of the player above their head? Let me find fill text. No, draw a health bar. Draw hitboxes. Draw center position with label. What's this doing? Fill text pickup. Pickup pistol. I don't understand this. It's getting called with pickup. Like, did I have that? Oh, bro, is that how it's doing that? Eight to -3. This is so gross. Okay, I just want the first argument. I think I can actually say like mock. Wait, is this mocked out? Fill text. Yeah, it's a spy. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'll just do this right now. All right, we got it working. That only took what, hour? A full hour to do? My gosh. But now we have a test. Didn't add size. Color theme. I'm using stained blue. Bearded theme stained blue. Why did it give me an output that was so obtuse? Like, I should have made my assert statement a little bit more specific and just checked the text to begin with. I didn't realize it would have an array of 6 entries for like the comparison. Like, that was very confusing, but hey. So my question is this test good? And is there a way we can make it cleaner? This stuff feels like it could be pulled out to some type of stub or utils. So like maybe util, okay, not util. Where are we? I almost rather not have this here. I'm going to make a different folder called test. And we're going to say weapons. And then we're going to move that because I just don't like the test being right next to the weapon here when it's not exactly a unit test. We're doing more of like an integration test or component level test where we have different things hooked together. Where is that file I just made? Bro, I'm struggling so much. Okay, here it is. Okay, it still passes. That's good. And again, the reason I did that, because this test is like setting up different classes, like a player class and a weapons class, and like testing how they kind of work together, integrated together. But if I actually make a util or stub or a mocks, maybe I'll call it like a mocks thing, and I'll say ctx.ts. Let's just go ahead and grab this one, and I'll say export function get create mock ctx, and then we're going to go ahead and just return that. Okay, this will just make it a little easier to just reuse that, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to do this in multiple places. And then over here, I wonder if I can actually just say new. Do I have an interactive extension? Let me try this real quick. Does that still work? No. Okay. I still have to call deserialize on it. Extension interactive not found. Okay, that doesn't work. Something feels bad about this, honestly. And I kind of want to figure out what's going on here. Weapon client. This thing could be a mock. Let me go over here and just say like image loader. All right, there we go. Okie dokie. Delete that. Why are you using a as? What does it do? Using the as keyword in Typescript basically tells the type to overwrite as something else. I think you could also like, if you have like a parent-child relationship, you can like as it to switch it to something else if you're trying to like pick a different extension or interface that you're using or something. But sometimes you'll see it like as unknown as something that like fully overwrites the type. As is still expecting like the types to kind of play nicely. And a lot of times you'll see like as any, just so like this thing will stop complaining. Yeah. All right, I'm actually probably gonna wrap this stream up. Kind of tired, but I think this test is decent. I don't like the idea that we have to like have this whole raw data, but this thing does take in a raw entity. Because in the game client, this thing is instantiated when the WebSocket event comes over for the first time. And so it kind of makes sense to verify that, I guess. Is it because the pistol or the weapon has looking for positionable client public static type? Okay, so this is static. That's kind of why it wasn't working. And this doesn't even have a constructor. So if you were to construct this, you know, I kind of wonder why this doesn't have a constructor on it. You know what I mean? Like, wait, let me not say, let's see. Make a difference. Well, that's just interface. Okay, what's this complaining about? Extension positionable not found. Did adding the constructor just completely break that? Oh, it's because I need to add this dot type is equal to that extension type, I think. Which means I'd have to say private type. What is this complaining about? Yeah, I don't know why this is a static read only. I don't feel like this is even used anywhere. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna revert for right now and just be happy I got it working before I dive into like doing all that refactoring. So let's commit this and I'll just go ahead and just, a lot of files we changed. I'll say adding test for the client and adding a weapon test to verify interactive text displays when a player goes near it. All right, let's just make sure this is still working. There. Okay. Pretty good. I'm happy with that for the most part. I've added options for 3 more databases while watching the stream. Could I post the npm package in the Discord chat for you to look at maybe, please? Are we testing game state here? I'm testing like functionality of the game. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I'm not gonna review your stuff live on a stream. If you send me on Discord a link, maybe I could do it on Wednesday or something, or I could do it on a video if it's interesting enough. Would you want me to review your code on a video if it seems like it's something I can make into content? Because I'm not just gonna review it and give you feedback, right? I gotta make some content out of it, or else it's not worth my time. Not that I don't want to help you, it's just I don't have time to like really review code. Oh, I left that console log in. And I gotta get serious about making more videos. I've kind of been taking a break over the past couple of months. But I need to get back into making some Next.js videos. Or some type of next React videos, removing console log. Close that one. All right. One of my forms in Next.js is 1,000 lines. Is that a lot? Honestly, I don't think so. If the file has like all the inputs in the file, that's fine. I don't think the number of lines is a telltale sign of complexity. It just means that the page has a lot of functionality, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. You can like break it up into small, teeny little functions, and then you have like this one file that imports 15 other functions to set up your form. But now you're basically just causing more complexity in your project. What's up, Raz Mickey? How's it going? I'm actually about to end this stream, so thanks for tuning in. I'm getting tired. Managed to add another test to this system, and happy with that. So everyone have a good day.